Hi, my name is Mindy Huntington Frazier, and I'm the Outreach Coordinator at the Olympic College Nursing Program. Thank you for joining me today for this virtual information session. During this video, we will review everything you need to know in order to apply to the Associates in Technical Arts Registered Nurse pathway. This pathway is our traditional Associate's degree Registered Nurse pathway. We use a selective admissions process, meaning you have to apply and be accepted to both Olympic College and the nursing program. We accept applications year-round, but we have one application deadline of March 31st each year. This is a competitive program. We've received 200 to 300 applications each year for only 70 spots. The program starts every fall. This is a 2-year program with a total of 6 quarters of nursing courses, fall, winter, and spring quarters. There are no assigned classes for this pathway in summer quarter. At the end of the program, you graduate with an Associates of Technical Arts degree and are qualified to take the NCLEX, which is the state licensing exam. To apply to this program, you need to start by applying to Olympic College, complete the reading comprehension section of the AccuPlacer exam, complete all the prerequisites and support courses. If you've completed any classes outside of Olympic College, you'll need to submit all official transcripts and complete and submit all of this material before that application deadline of March 31st. The AccuPlacer is a test used by many community colleges to determine placement for math and English classes. Based on your educational history, you may not need to take the entire AccuPlacer exam, but all students applying to our program will need to take the reading comprehension AccuPlacer. The minimum score to apply is 260 for the next generation AccuPlacer, which is the current AccuPlacer offered, or if you took the AccuPlacer before 2019, an 84 on the classic AccuPlacer. Prerequisites give you the knowledge base to make sense of the nursing curriculum. There are 3 required prerequisites for this pathway: English 101, which is composition, Chem 121, Intro to Chemistry, and Biology 241, which is Anatomy and Physiology Part 1. All 3 of these prerequisites must be completed by the March 31st deadline with a minimum GPA of 2.0. This pathway also has some required and optional support courses. Before you start the program in the fall, you'll need to have completed Biology 242, which is Anatomy and Physiology Part 2, Nursing 151, Dosage Calculations with a minimum of 3.7 GPA, Nursing 152, Intro to Pharmacology with a minimum of 2.2 GPA. These are the only nursing classes you are permitted to take at Olympic College before you are admitted to the nursing program. Before you start the second quarter in the program, you must have completed a nutrition course. If you did not take Nutrition 101, then you will be required to take Nursing 118, winter quarter of the program. Finally, before you start the second year of the program, you'll need to have Biology 260, Microbiology, Psychology 100, Intro to Psychology, or Psych 102, Psychology of Adjustment. You'll also need to have one 5-credit elective from the following disciplines: anthropology, communication studies, history, humanities, philosophy, political science, or sociology. We also have some optional support courses that are not required for the nursing program or for the Associates of Technical Arts degree. However, they are highly recommended to prepare you for your nursing classes. These include English 102, which is English Composition 2, and a college-level math other than statistics. So any 100-level math or higher. So typically our nursing students take Math 107 or Math 141. This pathway also has some required and optional support courses. Support courses are not required before you start the program, but will help you prepare for your nursing classes and can help lighten the load if completed early. Before fall quarter, so sometime in winter, spring, or the summer at the latest, you must take a 5-credit elective from anthropology, communication studies, history, humanities, philosophy, political science, or sociology. It's also recommended to take a college-level math, but this is optional. College level is any 100-level math or above, and most of our students take either Math 107 or Math 141. If you need to take your science classes at Olympic College, you do need to follow a specific sequence. The typical way people complete their science prerequisites are Math 99, which you can test out of through the AccuPlacer Math exam, Chem 121, Chem 131, which is not a prerequisite for the program, but is required to take Biology 241, which is Anatomy and Physiology Part 1, Biology 242, Anatomy and Physiology Part 2, and Biology 260, which is Microbiology. If you have completed Anatomy and Physiology elsewhere, you do not need to take Chem 131 for entry into the nursing program. Sometimes people want to finish prerequisites as quickly as possible. You can technically take Biology 241 as a co-requisite of Chemistry 131 and Biology 260 with Biology 242. This, however, is not recommended, but it has been done. This leads to very intense 2 quarters and requires a lot of time due to the number of labs you'll be in. You may also be able to test out of Chem 131 through the testing center, but this is really rare. You can learn more about how to test out by visiting the website www.olympic.edu/chemistry. If you are transferring credits from another college, please supply all official transcripts from any institution you have attended since high school. Send transcripts directly to the admissions department along with the transfer credit evaluation form. Your transcripts won't automatically be evaluated, so it's really important you submit this form. You will also need to be an Olympic College student and enrolled in classes for the evaluators to review your credits. If you have taken biology or chemistry classes at an out-of-state college or at the Evergreen State College, you'll need to have a course review done. To do this, send our Health Pathways Student Success Coach, Ashley Blake, your unofficial transcript and course syllabus via email. Course syllabi are usually available from the division office at the college you attended. These documents are then sent to a member of the faculty in the appropriate department who will evaluate it against our classes to determine equivalency. Please allow 3 weeks for response. These are 2 separate processes, so I just really quickly want to recap. The transfer credit evaluation is for the entire college and determines transferability for general credit at the college. It must be requested once you're registered or applied to the program. Official transcripts and transcript request forms can be sent to evaluators at olympic.edu. The course review process is for the nursing program only and determines equivalencies for specific biology or chemistry classes taken either out of state or at the Evergreen State College. This can be done at any time prior to your application. To do this, you'll send class syllabus and unofficial transcripts to Ashley Blake at ablake@olympic.edu. The Olympic College policy is that you can have 3 attempts at a prerequisite course, and we accept the most recent attempt. If your grade is below a 2.0, it is not eligible as a prerequisite. The only exception for this is Nursing 151 dosage calculations. You only have 2 attempts to get that minimum grade of 3.7. In Nursing 152 Intro to Pharmacology, again, you only get 2 attempts to get a minimum GPA of 2.2. Credits do not expire for a nursing program, so if you took Anatomy and Physiology 10 years ago and got a good grade, you don't have to retake it. Once your prerequisites are complete, you can apply to the nursing program. If you are completing your last prerequisite during winter quarter, that is okay. You have 2 weeks after the application due date to submit your final official transcript. If you're applying for the first time, there is a $35 application fee, which is waived for rollover candidates. Please include your AccuPlacer reading comprehension score, your transcripts and that transcript evaluation request form, if applicable, and submit all these materials before March 31st for September start date. To find the nursing application, just scroll down below this video, click on that caret to expand it, and then click on Nursing ATA ADN application. Make sure you also check out those application instructions. They have a lot of great information. Once all the applications are in, we review them according to the points-based factor system listed on page 9 of the application instructions. All courses must be completed by March 31st to receive points. First, we use your cumulative GPA for those prerequisite courses of English 101, Chem 121, and Biology 241. There are 6 points possible for this cumulative GPA. And here's the breakdown. I always like to point out that you don't need a 4.0 in all your classes to get the full 6 points. You will also get additional points for any support courses you have completed. If you've completed Biology 242, you receive 1 point, Biology 260, 3 points, one of the psych courses, 1 point, English 102, 1 point, and college level math other than statistics, 1 point. All of these must be completed with a 2.0 GPA or higher. You can also receive points for that AccuPlacer comprehension test, so if you meet the minimum, you get at least 1 point, and then if you score higher than 285 on the next generation or 106 on the classic version, you get 2 points. There's also a rollover point automatically applied for anyone who is eligible the first time they applied but did not get accepted. So for first-time applicants, 15 points are possible, and second-time applicants, 16 points are possible. Here's an example of a student who received pretty high grades in their prerequisites, but note not all of them are 4.0, has completed all of their support courses, and received that minimum score on the AccuPlacer. This student has applied before, so they get a rollover point and have a pretty competitive score of 15 out of 16. Da-dum! Student number 2's prerequisite grades were a little bit lower. They haven't completed that college level math course yet, and they scored the minimum on the AccuPlacer. This is also the student's first time applying to the program, and they received 11 out of 16 points. There is no magic score to get in. It depends on who else applies. Some years it may be students with 15 points, and other years not all 16 points get in. It just depends. We always recommend that you put your best application forward. The Olympic College Nursing Program has 3 types of classes. We have theory classes, which are your traditional lecture and class activities. 1 theory credit equals 1 contact hour per week per credit. So a 3-credit course is 3 hours per week. We also have lab classes where you practice your skills on classmates as patients for non-invasive things like communication skills and blood pressures, and mannequins for more invasive things. And 1 lab credit equals 2 contact hours per week per credit. So 1 credit lab class is 2 hours per week. We also have clinicals where you're in a facility like a hospital or skilled nursing facility where you're working with real patients. We also have simulations where you work on high-tech mannequins to learn those skills. And so here's an example of that. 1 credit clinical course is 2 contact hours per week per credit. So 5 credits equals 10 hours per week. We also like to point out that there is study time required. So for each hour in class, you'll need about 2 hours to study. The Olympic College Nursing Program does have a minimum grade required for each class. So for all your prerequisites, you must have a minimum 2.0 grade in every class. Once you're in the program, you must have a minimum 2.2 grade in every class. What happens if you don't achieve the required grade of 2.2 in the nursing class? You will have the option of petitioning the faculty to re-enter the program, and if successful, you join the cohort the next year. Unfortunately, if you fail a clinical course due to a safety concern, you will not be allowed to petition for readmission. Before you start clinicals, you'll need to submit some documentation. You'll need to have CPR, so basic life support for healthcare providers, malpractice and liability insurance, which is available through the cashier's office for about $25 per quarter. You'll need some sort of health insurance. There's a whole list of immunizations, and then we'll need to be able to do a background check. It is expected that you turn all these documents in on time and completed when asked for them. This is important as 1 late document can hold up the entire class. I also always like to note these things are not necessary to apply to the program, and it's actually better for you to wait until you hear if you're admitted to the program before starting to gather these items, as some of them are time sensitive. As a student nurse, you'll be using all of your skills and abilities. Some of the motor duties may include those listed here. Communication skills are very important for student nurses. You'll be communicating with a wide variety of people like instructors, classmates, patients, families, doctors, and other nurses. Your patients are sick, sometimes they're in pain, and may be scared. We use therapeutic communication to care for our patients. If you need to improve your communication skills, consider taking a communication studies course like interpersonal communication or public speaking. You will also need to have good emotional health as a student nurse. Nursing school can be stressful. Be aware of your coping mechanisms and support system, and know that you can always ask for help. You'll also be taught a professional code of ethics in nursing school and are expected to abide by it. If you have a disability, our Access Services Department can help by offering reasonable accommodations and working with your faculty on your behalf. We use a lot of technology in our program, including email to communicate with professors and classmates, word processing system like Microsoft Word or Google Docs for writing papers and studying. Use the internet, intranet, library, and database searches. This is for information gathering for client care, papers, assignment. We use our learning management system called Canvas. This is where all your class materials and lecture information, if there's any hybrid coursework, and some testing occurs. We'll also use electronic medical records for clinical documentation, and then simulations to develop clinical thinking. Items 5 and 6 you'll learn in the program, but if you're not familiar with items 1 through 4, it's highly recommended that you familiarize yourself with them before accepted into the nursing program. To help familiarize yourself with Canvas, General Studies 97 is offered. You can also take Nursing 102 every summer quarter to learn more about internet, intranet, library, and database searches. The NCLEX is a computer-based test. So to help our students get used to the style of test taking, we also use computer-based testing programs, ExamSoft and Examplify. Students will need to bring a laptop to class to take exams. These programs work only with Mac and Windows operating systems, so it doesn't work with Chromebooks, Android, Linux, tablets, or other phones. Students can check out a laptop that meets these requirements from the IT help desk if needed. There are a few conditions that may occur during nursing school that you'll have to agree to if you accept admissions. Though our courses are typically during the weekday, there may be classes in the evening or weekends. Healthcare is a 24/7 operation. This means you may have clinical experiences day, evening, or night shift any day of the week, including the weekends. We try to keep clinical sites close to campus, but there's always a chance you may have to travel over 50 miles. And school needs to become your priority over work or other personal responsibilities. And we know life happens. It's okay if you realize that you cannot commit to these right now. If that's true for you, please don't accept your provisional offer to the program so we can offer it to someone else. Thank you so much for watching this virtual information session. Please consider registering for a live or not recorded information session for additional information on this pathway, especially if you have questions. We also encourage everyone to set up a meeting with our Healthcare Pathway Student Success Coach, Ashley Blake. Ashley can help do an unofficial review of your transcripts and build out an education plan to help you get to where you want to go. If you have previously applied but did not get in, Ashley can also give you tips on how to improve your factor point. To make an appointment with Ashley, email her at ablake@olympic.edu. Hope to see you soon. Bye.